King of my life. Yes, you do. I'll sing to you. Lord, I'll sing your praise. All the days of my life, I'll never cease to praise you. The blood of my soul, you deserve all praise. You died for me. I'll sing to you. Give up everything for me. All the days of my life. Oh, you'll always love my praise. I'll never cease to praise you. Whether rain or shine. All the days of my life. But I promise you, I'll never cease to praise you. Whatever can come on. All the days of my life. Lord, I'll never cease to praise you. You show me love. Well, the King of our lives deserves all praise. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be joining us from. It is the 13th day of December, and welcome to PENSDOWN. It's another edition this afternoon, and I am privileged to have been joined by a senior colleague today. We are going to have what I expect to be an engaging and exciting discussion. He started his journalism career as a cab reporter right from senior high school with the defunct Accra Daily Mail newspaper in the year 2000. He is a product of the University of Education, Winneba, where he studied communication science and later carved a niche as an online journalist at the Berlin-based International Institute of Journalism, IIJ. He has had stints with the world's largest football website, go.com, as a correspondent and later as editor-in-chief for the Ghana edition of the website. He once worked as online editor at City FM and EIB Networks Star FM. He's a regular contributor on Ghana-related issues for South African-based Pan-African TV network, Newsroom Africa, TV Arise, and Plus TV Africa in Nigeria, as well as DWTV in Germany. Until August 2020, he was the head of content for US-based award-winning global Black website, FaceToFaceAfrica.com. He teaches convergent journalism and electronic media management at the Pre-University Department of Central University in Accra. On the international front, he currently works as Ghana correspondent for AFP News Agency based in France and strains for The Voice of America. He also writes for The Guardian in the UK and the Christian Science Monitor in US. Prior to that, he was a features writer for Al Jazeera. On the local front, he is currently working with Asase Radio as head of news and co-owns local news website, Daily Mail GH. He is the resident fixer for ABC TV in Australia, Dutch national broadcaster NPO1, French national TV, TFI. He is currently studying internet journalism, at the London School of Journalism. He is married with 4 children. My guest today is Mr. Kent Mensah. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Nana. That was loaded, eh?
It's great to have you here. My first question, obviously, after reading this profile, is how do you manage all these in 24 hours? How many hours do you have in your day? Is it more than 24 hours?
I wish I could have some extra hours more, but I think that I'm now trying to slow down a bit because as time goes on, man is aging, so you need to to think about your health and family as well. So I try to balance things here and there. Yeah.
because you have 4 children, that is a small army at home. And then you have all these network of very, very, very loaded international and local platforms around you that you need to respond to their requests from time to time to feed them with news. Wow. How long do you sleep in a day?
Well, I try to manage at least 4 to 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
4 to 5 hours in a day, yeah.
Fantastic. We want to find out, first of all, you said you started as a novice reporter, more or less, some sort of a reporter under training, an apprentice, to put it in a layman's language, right after senior high school. So at what point did you catch the fire that you wanted journalism as your career path?
Well, so basically, I think, let me just take you back a bit. So in senior high school, I'd wanted to be a doctor before I entered into senior high school. So as every young boy's dream, I want to be a doctor. So I went into the sciences to study science at Aquinas Secondary. But after 2 weeks, I realized that, Charlie, this is not my area. The maths, the elective maths, I was just seeing stars. So I just ran away from science class and I went to general arts class. And then, so in school, I think at a point we were thinking about what to do after school. And then we all said that, come on, let's just think about forming a press club. So 3 of us, myself, a colleague of mine who is now running the publisher, it's called Halifax Ansando, and then Isaac Islam. So we decided to comb around the newsstands to look for newspapers in the quest of looking for their addresses, to go to them and then tell them that, look, we are young students, we want to be journalists in future, so why don't you give us opportunity to start writing for you? We had no idea what journalism is all about. So we saw this. I think we went to Spectator. They turned us down because they were like, Charlie, you people, you are not serious. You don't even know what you're talking about. So we saw a very nice, distinct newspaper among all the lot. You know, those days, Accra Mail, owned by Arunata, was pink. It was the only pink newspaper you would see. So we saw, look, we could just grab a shot and see what happened. So we went to their offices, and then it was so nice to us. He said, look, come on, take the advantage if you want. So then following week, we started a column called the Student Roundtable. So we're writing all sorts of things that we didn't even understand what we were writing. And after secondary school, we decided to join them. At a point, the two of my colleagues, Alifas and Esther, left because of financial issues. But I decided to hold on because I really wanted to be a journalist. So I trained for 2001, 2003. Then 2003, I decided to add the formal bit of journalism training. So that I go to school properly. But by then, I've had a hands-on training. So I entered school virtually knowing everything about journalism. So the 2003 schooling was just more or less like to add color to what I've already done. So it was just formality. So I think I started proper journalism from 2003 to 2005. Then in between this period, I was doing formal training, and then also I had to travel to Berlin to also carve a niche for myself as an online journalist. That was those days where online was not really in the picture. So I happened to be privileged to be one of the few to be trained as online journalists from the onset.
Okay, so you said the colleagues you initially started at Accra Daily Mail with, at a point they left for financial reasons. Would that mean that while you were there, because you were under training, you were not being given anything at all?
Nothing. You see, this is a situation, you are more or less like an apprentice, to put it that way. So nobody forced you into it, and nobody would open a or a door for you to say, these are young guys, come and learn. So for me, I saw it as an opportunity and then a privilege. So I understood my colleagues. We've just finished senior high school.
Yeah.
They needed to make a living for themselves. So I had to stay. And then I think I stayed with Accra Mail from 2000 to 2006, thereabouts, without salary. So I started being paid. They started giving me money from 2000 and I think 5. Then a year into it, I had to leave. Yeah. But when I left, I was still running their website for them.
Okay. So that means, at what point did you bring in a formal certificate? Was it the formal training that qualified you for salary? Was that the case?
Well, I wouldn't tell whether it was a formal training or probably it was by dint of probably hard work, because at a point I became more or less like the sole reporter for the newspaper, because I more or less like playing a frontline role. You remember those days when we had the National Reconciliation Commission? I think 2003.
2003.
Yeah. So I was a correspondent for the newspaper, and you know how Reconciliation Commission issues are so big. We had the lives of Mensah of Daily Graphic, Daily Guide covering for their newspapers, and I was the tiny one among the correspondents, always with them. So for you to be put on that bit, it tells how important you are to a newspaper. So I think when they realized that I have really grown some teeth and I'm becoming a useful asset to them, they needed to start paying me. And I remember my first salary was 50 cedis then. So I don't know how now, if you want to get the equivalent, but it was 50 Ghana cedis then. My first, and I was so excited.
I see. Yeah. Okay, so how many more years beyond the 2003 did you stay on at Accra Daily Mail?
So I left Accra Daily Mail, and if my memory serves me right, somewhere around 2006, 2007, thereabouts. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Some people land into professions by accident. Some get it imposed on them by parents or relatives. Others follow their own passion. Which one is your story?
Well, for me, I think that it was a default passion after having abandoned my dream to be a doctor. So I felt like this was the easy way for me, because I love reading then. I said then because now I hate reading, because anytime I pick a book, I hate taking the hardcover to read, so I probably would prefer looking on the screen. So I love reading. I was virtually reading dictionary by then. So I was using word for word without even breaking down into some simplified English those days, because, you know, by then man didn't have a lot to think about. Your brain was so free, so you can just choose to put anything in there. Yeah.
Okay, so from Accra Daily Mail, where was your next stop?
Yeah, so I think from Accra Daily Mail, that was when I had gone to school in Berlin. I had a scholarship with the German government to train in online journalism at the International Institute of Journalism. So that was 3 months. It was in phases. So the first phase was in 3 months. Then I had to go for another 2 months, and then 2 weeks after. So from there, then I joined a website called GhanaDistricts.com, owned by former colleague at Peace FM, kwesy. He's now an MP, I suppose.
I think he was a morning show producer or something like that.
Exactly. So the GhanaDistrict.com was virtually managing all the project work of all the districts in Ghana. So we were projecting the tourism potential, whatever you need to know about all the districts. So I was managing their website as well for them.
Okay. I see.
I'm not good with memory, but I think I stayed there briefly, maybe about a year or two. Then I had to leave, and then joined Joy FM briefly. It was, I think, some 3 or 4 months stint that I had to join Joy FM. Yeah.
And then from there you went to CT?
Yeah, I went to from Joy. I think I started managing an international footballer. Who plays for Liberia. He's called Dooley Johnson. He was a very young footballer. So I was managing his more or less like everything about him, publicity. I was his publicist, although I was based in Ghana. I was running his website, linking up with all the international media about giving him publicity. So I managed him for about three or so years. Then I started another newspaper project called the Child Alert newspaper. That also ran briefly for I think a year or so with the support from Brighter Pia, who runs Child Rights International. Yes. So from Child Alert, then we folded up, and then I had to join Africa News, which was being managed by a Dutch company. And then we were managing about 2,000 plus reporters across the continent. They were writing stories, and then we just have to vet the stories that are good, and then we pay them. So at Africa News, then I joined City FM in 2011 thereabouts. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So while going through your profile, I saw platforms like the Al Jazeera, the Guardian UK, and at what point did they come in?
Yeah, so Al Jazeera came into the picture, I think 2013 thereabouts. They started a project which was focusing mainly on features on Africa. Yeah, so I think I got contacted by one of their editors through a colleague, I guess. So he contacted me and then asked me if I would be interested in writing features for on Ghana or any African country. To be honest with you, I'm not the kind of person who love writing features. I'm the touch and go person. I want to do the straight news, hard fast. I think features really take a lot of my time, research and other stuff. So I want to see the stuff going here and there. So I just took a shot at it, and I was like, yo, look, why not? I mean, this is Al Jazeera, it's a big platform. Let me do it. Yeah, so I took it up, and my first story was on, I think, Kantanka, Safo Kantanka, Christo Asafo.
Yes.
And to today, I think it is one of the best articles I've ever written, because I see a lot of people making reference to it, even in the international media and some magazines. So I love it. I wrote a couple of articles for them as well.
Oh, okay. I see. At Accra Daily Mail, what would you say was your best memory of Accra Daily Mail?
I had a lot of memories. I just can't single out a particular one, but I think that the beauty of Accra Daily Mail was the fact that it was full of, at a point, it was full of young guys. So Aaron Atta was the oldest person, who is I think is the former ambassador of Ghana to Namibia also. So he was the oldest person on board, and it gave a lot of young people the chance. We were virtually running the newspaper. We decided what goes onto the front page. And then so every Friday for us we were looking forward to Fridays, because we call it work and happiness. You know, you are not being paid something big, but you are so satisfied and content with what you are doing, because every day I was virtually seeing my bylines on the front page of the newspaper. And you know, that feeling when you are a young journalist and you start seeing your byline, and that was those days when newspaper review was so vibrant, and I had to tune into Radio Good the next day just to hear my name being mentioned, that this story was written by Kent Mensah. And I was so excited because Radio Good was virtually mentioning the names of the writers and everything. And it was so fun. And I must take this opportunity to also thank Harun Atta for the opportunity that he gave me. I mean, he knew me from nowhere. But he just decided to open his doors when he saw us, and that sort of gesture that he did for me has really led me to also pay back in a different way for a lot of people.
It's been like some 21 years or more than 20 years, if I may put it that way, since you started your journey in journalism. What has kept you going all these years?
Wow, what keeps me going? I think that it's more or less about passion. I mean, loving what you do. For me, online journalism has become more or less like a hobby. If you don't love what you do, then you might as well quit. So I love what I do. I wake up online, I sleep online, I dream online, I do everything online. So for me, everything about my life has been online. Those who know me, even if I'm sitting at weddings, you see computer in front of me, you see tablet in front of me. My friends have been complaining, my wife has been complaining. Why? Why don't you have a break? I mean, can't you take a break? Because I just love what I do. So probably what keeps me going is there's a passion to see that I am adding to what society wants. And then the fact that you see, the beauty about online is sometimes I look at certain stories, I look at how people react, and I'm like, you have no idea how this story was processed. I may have been sitting on my bed, and I may have parked in front of in the middle of traffic, and I processed the story. So that's the beauty about online. You can do virtually anything, anywhere that you want to do. So the beauty of it, seeing your end product, and then people appreciate it or criticizing you, it's what keeps me going.
Yeah. When did you decide to branch into teaching journalism, and why?
Well, I've always told myself that I will retire completely in journalism teaching as a lecturer. Okay. So it was no surprise to me when the opportunity came. I think my colleague is called mahyeasea at CTFM.
Yes, I remember him.
He was then teaching at Central University.
Okay.
And then he had opportunity to travel to, I think, Cardiff University or one of these universities. So he was leaving the country. And then he had to reach out quickly to somebody who can step into his shoes for him at Central University. And it happened so on a speed. So it was like he was going tomorrow. He contacted me today around 8 p.m. and said, look, I have a lecture tomorrow at Central University, and that is at Miachu, the Pram Lane.
Wow.
And the time is 7 a.m. So you need to go and sit in for me. You don't need to tell me whether you like it, just like that. So I just needed to. So I was like, do you have course outline, lecture note, what have you? It's like, you need to prepare your own stuff, just go and teach the kids. So I hate to disappoint people. The fact that he's thought of me and then contacted me, I needed to really prove my worth. So I told him, don't worry. So I stayed all night, did a lot of research, and then I stepped in for him. I went to teach the kids without they knowing that I'm just coming like less than 8 hours and I'm not even prepared. So, and since then I've been teaching at Central. So I taught at Central for MHO for I think some 6 months. And then I moved to the Canadian First Light area. Campus, so I've been doing that since 2014 up to now.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. A lot of the young ones in the profession laud you a lot when it comes to your love for giving people the opportunity to also maximize their potential under you. What inspires this? What has been the motivation behind this kind of approach or this kind of attitude that you have?
Well, for me, it's all about humanity. And then also having a good name for yourself. There is a saying that good name is better than riches.
That's right.
So that has really guided me. This saying is very common, but if you deeply reflect over it, you realize that it is very deep.
Yeah.
Very, very deep to the sense, to the extent that, look, if you are able to create opportunity for somebody, transform the person's life, give the person an opportunity to become what he wants to be, your name will forever be on the lips of that person till eternity. Yeah. And for me, those are better than awards. Wow. I haven't won any significant award in my life. I have 2 awards in my life, which I cherish so much. One is personal, one is collective. One is what I won in the year, I can't remember the year, but when I was in class 6 as the best Ghana student at Speech and Prize Giving Day. That was the first one. Yeah. And then the other one is when I was the editor for Star FM Online. And then we won the CIMG digital, the emerging brand of the year. So these are the only awards. I'm not a man of awards. I don't apply for awards. I really don't care about awards. So I thought that the awards that I need in life is to impact people. When I see them mention my name, which I don't need anyway, but when I see them mention my name, for me, I cherish those ones more than awards. So I feel like, why don't you give people opportunity to also test the waters, to see if they can impact it, so that when you transform their life, they can also replicate it. So if this is how every human being will live in this world, I think that we are all going to have a lot of peace. We wouldn't have a lot of people roaming on that. People are looking for opportunities, but they are not getting. So why would you want to curtail somebody's opportunity? Somebody in question, I was a bit teary when I was watching Fifi, when you interviewed him, Fifi and Aman. We were at Go. Up to date, I still don't remember how we connected. So anytime he raises it, then I'm able to remember all these things. But I do a lot of these things without thinking about what I'm going to get at the end. I believe that somebody did it for me. Arunata did it for me. And I need to replicate that gesture to everybody who comes into my life. And I don't regret it one bit.
Wow. How many more years are we going to see you in the journalism field?
And to be honest with you, somewhere last year, I'd wanted to quit journalism. If I say quit, I mean that I want to stop this 8 to 5 sort of job, because tired that you wake up in the morning having to listen to radio interviews, monitor, do stories out of it. I feel like it's about time I did something differently, probably focus more on the international stuff that I do, and then also do my personal stuff. So somewhere around August last year, I made up my mind that I was quitting. And I told my wife, my kids, that I'm done. I'm done with journalism. I want to do something on a part-time basis. But I don't know what happened. And then I had to change my mind again, because Asasi Radio came into the picture. I've been in contact with them since February last year. And the CEO then, Nana Poku, jumped on board again. And I'm like, look, my wife was like, look, the way this man has been coming for you, just give him attention and then see what it has for you. So that's where I am now. So I can't really tell, but maybe if the next in the next 5 years, if we have life, maybe I may be doing something different.
Okay. You have navigated the terrain quite extensively, working for different platforms, even in Ghana. What has been your experience when it comes to remuneration? I don't know if we're having difficulty with this connection. Let's see if we can raise him back quickly, and then we continue from where we stopped. You are live on PENSDOWN. On this program, we give journalists the opportunity to tell us the stories behind the successes they chalk while doing their routine work as journalists. We are in a conversation with my senior colleague, Kent Mensah, and he's been telling us about his journalism journey. We lost him to the poor network. We are hoping to raise him back and then get a move on. Please stay with us. Yes, you do. I'll sing to you. I'll sing a praise. I'll never cease to praise you. Whatever can come all the days of my life. Lord, I'll never cease to praise you. Welcome back. You're still live with us here on PENSDOWN. My guest is Mr. Kent Mensah. We're discussing or taking a look at his journalism journey so far. I don't know if you can hear me. Welcome back, Kent.
And I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right, I can.
Sorry, ECG decided to do their thing.
Oh, too bad. I had a similar experience when I was on with Fred Avonio last week as well. Wow. He also suffered a similar experience. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think your question was, you were asking me about the terrain, right?
Yes, I was asking the terrain. What has been your experience with remuneration as far as your practice over the years is concerned?
Well, I think I'm going to be a bit, I don't know whether media owners in Ghana will say I'm quite insensitive or I'll not be too fair to them. But to be very honest with you, remuneration in Ghana is nothing to write home about, because I think a lot of media owners in Ghana are only thinking about the end results, what they would gain from establishing media houses. They want to have influence. They want to carry some weight to say that, look, I own a media house, so I carry some influence in Ghana, without thinking about the resources that the personnel will need to work, especially journalists. So remuneration is nothing to write about, especially if you've had a chance to work with the international media and compare what you do with the international media. So let me give you an example. I get to write a single story for an international outlet, which is paying me, let's say, $350. So convert it into Ghana cedi, we are talking about 1,800 Ghana cedi.
That's a lot.
And yes, and you are working for a whole month, 8 to 5 in Ghana, and people are being paid 800,000 cedis and then 1,200 cedis. So you really, of course, I understand the economies are different, but you see, why don't you rather channel resources into running a very slim staff that they will be satisfied, and then you pay them better for them to deliver better, than having a whole lot of staff and then you are paying everybody pittance and people are not ready to give you their best. So, I mean, I don't think the Ghanaian media owners are being fair to journalists, because if we don't take care, we are not going to really get what we call quality content. We are probably going to, we will be doing a lot of channalism than journalism in this country.
Explain that here. We'll be doing a lot of journalism than journalism. Wow. That is quite pregnant with meaning. Let's look at journalism in Ghana. You know, one of the biggest challenges of journalism all over the world is the advent of social media, which seems to have launched the journalism careers of millions untrained across the world. How is Ghana faring in the midst of all this?
I think that the mainstream media has really been taken by surprise. We didn't really prepare for social media and its impact on what it can have on our journalism. So we are now allowing social media to dictate the kind of content we should have on mainstream media. So we sit in a situation where years back, there are certain things that bloggers will blog about or write about that you will never, ever see on the street on mainstream media. You dare not even publish that stuff on mainstream media. But now people on social media picking stuff to blog about, it is really putting a lot of pressure on those of us in the mainstream media, because that is what Ghanaians say they want. So people, I put it this way, and a lot of gossips that have no basis, that have no substances, but because others are publishing them on their blogs, the mainstream media is tempted to also do that. So you see a lot of substandard content on our social. So we need to really check some of the stuff that we are publishing on mainstream media. We are allowing social media to dictate. Yes, everything seems to be breaking on social media, but do we really take pains to go through to really do a lot of cross-checking, double-checking to be sure about it? Or the fact that I have seen a politician put it out there means that it is true. You understand? So these are some of the things that we are facing, and if we really don't take care, our journalism will keep on taking a nosedive, and it will come to a time we may not doing journalism, as I said, and I repeat, we may be doing journalism, and it will really affect us a lot in this country.
Wow. Talking about the social media and its impact on mainstream journalism, currently there are even some mainstream media platforms that take news items from bloggers without editing everything. They lift and dump on their websites and other platforms. I think what you are saying is already here, or do we still have to try and nip these emerging trends in the bud so we don't get to a point of no return?
I must be frank with you. I think it's too late. I really think it's too late, because if you try to stand out, nobody really pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And I'm raising this because, look, if you are in the mainstream media and you want to set standard, you are not doing sensational headlines. You try to follow the journalistic principles.
Yeah.
You won't get the traffic. You won't get the numbers. So it's like you are working in the dark. So always the temptation is there that, look, let me also try and hit hard with my sort of headlines. Let me also try to go by speed against accuracy. So you realize that a lot of the online portals, they are always looking at speed instead of accuracy, and which is really affecting us a lot in this country. So sometimes you may have to retract, you may have to pull down stories, you may have to re-edit and reshape stories and retweak a lot of things. But it's just unfortunate. If you want to do the right thing, you don't get the numbers, and you feel like you are being left out. So the temptation, I even fall into those traps sometimes. I feel like, look, I have seen this year. Instead of me taking my time to say that, let me also do my own independent check. It will probably take like 2-3 hours, but I was, because I've seen it here, it is true, let me just go with it. And when trouble comes, how do you defend yourself? Are you going to say that because I saw it on Joy or I saw it on Star, that's why I pick it? No, you should be able to do your own independent check, which is lacking in our journalism in this country. So you see a lot of cut and paste, or you see all the platforms replicating the same headline, the same stories running over. And plagiarism is more or less like a norm now in this country. People pick your story, and then if you go and complain, and then you are telling them, look, do you know what goes into it preparing this story? He would rather insult you and say that, look, after all, didn't I give you credit? So what is it? So, I mean, people need to really learn a lot about the basics and the tenets of the online industry.
There is an uncontrollable exodus of trained professionals from the field of journalism today. In fact, for me, I look at it from the training institutions, Ghana Institute of Journalism as an example. When you go to their top-up classes where diploma students return to study for some years for a degree, the PR classes are always filled to the brim, but journalism classes struggle to fill up to halfway capacity. What is accounting for this state of affairs?
Well, People have their personal reasons, but I think that one, if you want to enter journalism thinking that because you are seeing probably Nanapa Namwa or Sewami here or Pejitotu or Israel Aye or whoever on TV and they think they are making money, then forget it. Journalism doesn't pay. So I think when it dawns on people, the reality dawns on people that look, journalism is not a place to make money, then they will probably think about running into the corporate sector rather. So they would rather be PRs or other or go into law. So journalism is about passion. And once you have the passion, it's more or less like a calling as well. If you don't have the calling to drive what you do, then forget about it. So the passion will lead you into creating networks. When you have a lot of networks, then you have a lot of opportunities. When you have a lot of opportunities, then you can think about making money out of it. Other than that, if you think about going to journalism straight to make money, forget it. There are two things if you want to do journalism. You either want to be famous or you want to serve people. That's all. But forget about the money.
Yeah, wow. You either want to be famous or you want to serve the people. That's interesting.
Exactly.
I want to find out now, this disturbing exodus we are experiencing, what does it portend for our democracy as a country? Because definitely it's going to impact on the quality of journalism, the quality of media work, the quality of media output, the quality of reportage. And that has a link with the kind of democracy we'll be having in this country. What is your take? What does it portend for the future of our democracy?
Well, Nana, I think, first of all, it's just unfortunate that we are on this path as a country.
Yeah.
And I need to digress a bit because you see, our democracy, journalism and democracy work hand in hand. You need quality journalists in order to serve as watchdogs on people in governance or leadership. Yeah. So if you don't have people who are well-trained journalists, who have the passion to do it, then we will be having watchdogs who are probably lapdogs in this country. Lapdogs because they will enter the business without knowing what they want to do. So let me give you an example. I have been teaching students at Central Electronic Media and then Convergence since 2014, and it is running across. Most of the students that we are getting today, I don't know about jhay, but I've spoken with a few lecturer friends at AUCC and a few places. It looks as if most of the students we are getting who want to do journalism are more or less like disappointed people. They wanted to do this, and because they didn't get it, or they are probably failing some subjects, so the easy alternative is to run into journalism. So they are not doing it with their heart is not in what they are doing.
So they just come in to manage their frustrations in life.
Exactly. So their parents probably have money to probably pay their school fees, so they want to do it. So it's a general thing. So you can imagine getting such people coming out, if they don't really sit up, reflect that this is the kind of job I want to do, to put government or public officials on their toes, to serve society, to give voice for the voiceless, and then thinking that, oh, because I don't have a job, I want to look for a quick way to make money, and they come. And then journalism is also not paying. Media houses are not also recruiting because of you go in and they tell you, come and do your national service as your national service.
I think we are losing your connection there. This is PENSDOWN. Thank you for joining us. On PENSDOWN, we sit with, yes, please go ahead. We were losing you a bit.
Yeah, so basically all I'm saying is that if you don't take care, if you finish without knowing your vision, your focus, because you enter journalism being frustrated, then forget it. You wouldn't know what you want to do.
If any of your kids tell you he or she wants to be a journalist in future, will that person get a blessing from you?
Yes, I want my second daughter to be a journalist.
Why are you pinpointing? We were looking at any of them on their own.
Yeah, I really want my daughter to be a journalist because I feel like she has the potential. She took a lot of my traits. She loves reading. She speaks. She sometimes wows me with a sort of English construction. Wow. She's just in class 1, and I'm like, whoa. So I really wanted to take after me.
Talking about the love for reading, a number of trainers, that is lecturers in communication schools or departments, senior colleagues that I have spoken to since I started this project, keep complaining that quality is lacking because reading is now not a habit with professionals in the field. What is your experience handling scripts, editing scripts, and dealing with journalists here and there? What is your experience?
Let me find a clever way of running away from this question, else I'll end up being lashed by a lot of colleagues that I have edited their script. But I think that I would advise my colleague journalists, especially reporters, to really read. They should read about a lot of any and everything that you know. What got me into reading when I was young, I had a bigger sister. She told me that, look, if you really want to have knowledge about everything, if you are sitting in a vehicle, in traffic, you read everything on the signboard. So I kept reading, then I'm reading everything, the people's store, the name of the store, what they do. So I was reading, and I used to love reading Daily Graphic as well. Anytime I go to Accra Daily Mail, especially the editorials. I read editorials almost every day. I was reading editorials. So I think if you want to be a very good journalist, not just a journalist, if you want to be a good person in life, an educated person in life, read a lot. I mean, it could be novels, it could be a lot of news stuff, but we have a lot of journalists, especially the student journalists. They don't even read news. You ask them what is the news for today, and they will be found wanting. But ask them what is the gossip on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or what have you. They know everything there. TikTok. But if you ask them the core journalism or core current affairs, they have no idea. So I'm like, I mean, where are we heading to? It's crazy. So it's true. The quality is gone down because people don't read, and then people are also carefree. They just write anything and they feel like, let me push it to the editor because there's an editor who edits it. But I keep telling people, look, one day, the editor may not be around. And then you will be the one in charge. They will tell you that, oh, Kent is sick. Can you quickly post this story online for us? And you will find one thing, because whatever you post out there will be what people will read. So if you don't train yourself to be an editor now, then when are you looking forward to train yourself? So people should be ready to read, and then also try as much as possible to learn from your colleague professionals. I read a lot about what my colleagues write. I don't really care about competition. I take time, look at their style, just to know how they write their stories. So I read a lot of stories by my colleagues, just to pick one or two points from it.
There is the proliferation of media platforms, new radio stations, TV stations, digital platforms, newspapers, and they keep springing out by the day. Now, what does that tell us? Is that an indication that our democracy is growing, freedom of the press is here, or it is an indication that we have a good number of trained professionals that need, such opportunities, and for that reason, those things are being opened up to absorb them? What does that mean?
Well, it comes nowhere near your last point that we have a good number of professionals who need. I don't think it comes nowhere near it. I think that we are privileged as a country to live in a democracy that is really growing, and then a constitution that gives us the room, especially for the media, to thrive, and then also I mean, any and everybody can write or publish what you so want to do, so far as it is within the constitutional letter. So I think that people have just abused it, thinking that it is an opportunity for them to also, some people are doing it just for, as a sort of, to what is the word? Settle personal score. I mean, just to publish things about people. Others are also doing it genuinely because they want to. They think that people are running websites. They are seeing a lot of the Google AdSense on them, and they think we are making so much money. So people enter into it thinking that it comes with a lot of money. And then when they start, they later realize that it takes a lot of strategy before you can make money. So I think first and foremost, it is the fact that we have a constitution that gives us the room to do it, and people have abused it. But take a critical look at most of the websites. You realize that nobody is doing anything special. Nobody is doing anything unique. It is the same sort of stories that are being replicated, cut and paste. There's a few who are doing something unique. So there's no originality.
Wow. Is that a problem for us?
It's a big problem. It's a big problem because, you know, uniqueness is key. And my association with the international media tells me that, look, if you don't stand out, if you don't, you are not independent with your own thinking, then you can't really thrive. So for instance, if I'm doing a story for AFP, I'm conscious about the fact that I need an original quote. I don't need to listen to Joy or City or any of the radio station or Asasi Radio to think about they interviewing someone and I steal it as my quote. No, I need to get to the source. VOA is the same thing. So it's a problem we have a lot of armchair journalists, people who are not willing to go out. They think that journalism is all about being a boss, sitting by your desk and then just picking stuff here and there. But look, the real journalism is on the field. Go to the field. That is where you get the information that you want. If you sit by your desk, the information you'll be getting on your screen or on your computer are secondary information that may not be factually correct.
Apart from writing for newspapers and online, have you had experience in electronic media like radio and TV? I mean, I'm talking about as an on-air person. Have you had that experience?
It's quite an interesting question, and I try to run away from it. And I have my personal reasons for saying that. Thankfully, I've worked with City FM, I've worked with Joy, I've worked with Star FM, I'm now working with Asasi Radio. All these are radio stations. But if you ask me, I may count that maybe it was one or two occasions that I entered the actual studios, not to even talk, just to have a feel of the studio. But
wow. Now, what would account for?
Be honest, no, I hate using it is not something that I wouldn't want to do. But coincidentally, for VOA, yes, I do on there, but that is the normal reporting, and it is because I don't get to listen to myself live on radio. I later have to check it online and hear myself. But to do live radio, to say that I'm reporting or sitting in the studio, no, I'm not an on-air person. You see, you must always, as a human being or as a professional, you must always take a good look at yourself, do a SWOT analysis, and know what you are good at and what you may not be good at. So although I can do on air, like reporting, live report and other stuff, I feel that I am better sitting by the screen, behind the screen, using my fingers to do the talking than using my voice to do the talking. So I prefer online, and that is where I want to be.
Okay. Apart from Alhaji Harunata, who has or have been your inspiration in this profession?
In this profession, I've been a very good friend to my brother. I don't call him a friend, my brother, Anas Arimayaw Anas.
Okay.
He's doing something completely different, which is investigative, something that I wouldn't want to do even if you give me the money of the whole world. I wouldn't want to, but he's been my very good friend, my source of inspiration. We've been friends way back from the year 2000. We were covering the military at the Burma camp together for some time. Yeah, before he entered properly into the disguise of for sort of journalism. So he's been my inspiration. I've had a couple of friends on the side. A lot. So let me just, in order not to step
offend
on
anybody by not mentioning their name.
Yeah, but let me also say that there's this lady. I wouldn't say she has really practiced journalism as a profession deeply, but she was sort of into PR and then communication. She is now the head of communication for Zoom Lion, or just one group of companies.
Okay.
Her maiden name was Sophia Kujoji, but she's now called Nana Lisa, Sophia Lisa. Okay. She is the head of communication at Zoom Lion. I would always mention her anytime, any day, because she was the person who paid my school fees for me in my first semester when I had nobody to look up to. I approached her because I was at Accra Daily Mail. I was publishing the press releases. I don't know what moved me to get in touch with her to say, look, I have had admission and I wanted money to go to school. And she told me, I don't have the amount that you are mentioning, but look, I am going to share my salary with you. So she gave me half of her salary to pay my school fees. And I will forever be grateful to Sophia Lisa for that gesture that she did for me. And that thing that she did for me has really had an impact on me, even in my own small way. I pay school fees for people, I pay rent for people, I help people with whatever they could, because for me, human being is all about humanity. It is not about your religion, it's not about your political party. I see you as a human being first before any other thing.
Wow. That's really touching. But she must have seen something in you to have gone to the extent of paying fees. What did she say was the motivation to come all out like that, to assist, even up to that extent?
I think for the mere fact that she saw in me that I really had that passion to go to school. I could have chosen not to go to school to do formalize my journalism, because I practically had whatever I wanted, but the fact that I wanted to add value to myself. So that actually moved it. And I'm the sort of person whose kind of friendship is not about friendship. My friendship is about I create friendship like a family. So you become like a sister, a brother to me, because I am ready to do whatever I can within my possible best to help you. So, people don't call me as a friend, they call me as a brother, because you can get in touch with me any day with all sorts of problems that you want. So far as I have the means, even if I don't have, people get to know later that, why did you do this for me? You didn't have, and later I get to know that Kent came to ask me money for you and blah, blah, blah. I really have to help people, because people have really helped me to reach where I am.
Somebody I once hosted on this platform said that for him, journalism is not a profession. He is also a trained journalist. I don't know if you agree or disagree with him.
Well, if he's making money from it, then it's a profession. If it's not making money, then it's not a profession. So once I'm making money from it, it is a profession to me. But I understand where it's coming from, because it's the kind of profession that you can easily enter into if you have, journalism is a skilled profession. If you can write very well, you are able to determine what is news or anchor, or you can write very good feature or pieces, then of course you can easily enter in. So I understand why people say that journalism is not a profession, but as far as you are making money out of it, for me, it's a profession.
If you have the opportunity to roll back the hands of time, is it going to be journalism again?
Of course, it's going to be journalism today, journalism yesterday, journalism tomorrow, because look, if you don't really see what journalism has for you, journalism is the only profession, or probably, let me say, journalism is the main profession that can open doors for you to places that you never think of. You can be a lawyer, but you will never get a chance to meet a president. But journalism, you meet all sorts of people in your life. I mean, that your parent or any of your family members have never met. So it opens door for you to meet people. And as I said initially, once it opens the door for you, it is up to you to take advantage, to create a very good network that would also open opportunities for you over and over. So thanks to journalism, I know a lot of people from all sorts of political divides within Ghana and outside the country. So I would do journalism any day, any day.
With corruption being cited in certain aspects of the media and poor remuneration also a challenge within journalism practice, which doesn't seem to be getting better, will the fight against corruption in the media ever be won, so that the bigger fight against corruption in the country as a whole also gets some sort of boost?
So when you say corruption in the media, can you break it down for me?
Okay, so for instance, you have a story, groundbreaking story, but definitely it's going to shake the very foundation of one entity, organization, of some company. Then you are giving something to kill their story. You pocket the money, you kill the story. We are talking about matters like that. You know, sometimes even it is not about the reporter. The reporter will do all the painstaking work, but he goes there and some editor says, this is editorial discretion. We are not running this. We are not publishing this. Because probably he's been grazed, his palm has been grazed or whatever. I'm looking at some of those scenarios.
Well, as far as we are dealing with, to borrow Dr. Baumia's word, demons and principalities as journalists, we would never ever stop confronting some of these issues where people want to grease your palm with money to drop stories, or editors frustrating us. I have encountered this over and over, personally, directly and indirectly. But you see, at the end of the day, it is all about you as an individual, your integrity. If you want your integrity to be tainted, then that is up to you. So I leave that to the discretion of an individual. That, look, it is about you. If you feel that you can't stand it, go ahead and then leave the media institution that you are working for. If you feel like they are barring you from publishing certain stories, if you feel like your editor is stopping you from publishing certain story because he or she has gone for some money, confront him and nicely. If it doesn't feel, then you have the right to work, or probably give it to another colleague to publish it. But if you feel like it is something you can stand with, then that is up to you. So it is all about individuals' discretion. But this is something that it is not peculiar to Ghana alone. I have an interaction with my colleagues all over the world, and it is, look, brown envelope is not something only in Africa. It is everywhere, even in Europe. They take all those stuff. But at the end of the day, it's about your integrity.
Yeah. Let me put you on the spot. Have you ever been approached to compromise a story, damning story, probably, that you or somebody under you was doing in a way to either water down the details or completely trash it?
Oh, 1,001 times. I wouldn't want to go into this, but 1,001 times people have come. Sometimes it's not even about the people directly. Your own bosses will come and then propose some money to you that, look, this is what so and so is offering, so let's not damage him. So for you to feel good, I want you to take this just for you to feel good. So 1,001 times. Sometimes as I said, it's your discretion. If you want to, as an editor, you want to leave it and let it go, fine. If you don't want it, let it go. There have been occasions that I've gone ahead to publish stories that my boss has come chasing me. I'll put off my phone, and then the next day I've been queried for it. But you see, when you stand your grounds, you know what you are doing. you don't fear anything. And they've respected me for those instances. And there are occasions where you see, we are humans. You are my friend, I'm your friend. So if there are certain stories that I realize that, look, you didn't do well, we need to find a way of letting you know that, look, this is how you can go and then correct whatever you've done, instead of us going to publish this story. Go and fix it, and then we'll see how to deal with it. Don't forget, as part of my my job, I also do something on the side which is called reputational management. So that one, I say I do it on the dark side. It has a lot of dark stuff to it. So
I see. Journalism today, there is a lot of digital presence in media practice. Indeed, even radio stations are streaming live. So today, you don't have to listen to radio stations, you watch them because they have online presence and all that. Now, I am going to ask this question because when I had interaction with Fred Avognon last week, it came up. This is a situation where he, as a business reporter, there were times he would do stories and it will get him into trouble or collision with his marketing department because they felt that, okay, you have unsettled the client we suffered to get. Now the client says he's not doing business with us just because of your story. Don't you know your limits? Don't you know what you shouldn't do and all that? Have you had such an experience where marketing people have come chasing you that, hey, this your bullet was too sharp, we are losing this business, know who to fire, know who to target, know who to do this? Have you had such experience?
Well, I'm yet to see any online editor specifically who has not gone through such pains in his life, you know. Yeah, 1001, especially when I was at EIB. I went through a lot of those issues. We were always having back and forth confrontation with the marketing department. And I understand it because the salesperson is looking at it for a commission.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking at the editorial point of stuff. So they are always coming clashing with us that, look, why didn't you get in touch with this particular story? This is our client. He is sponsoring this show. And I'm like, the fact that he's sponsoring that show doesn't mean that if they've done something bad, we can't go ahead and publish this particular story about them. If they have done this, we can't do this about them. So the clash is always there, especially the sales department and then the online department. But you see, there are always nice way of dealing with those issues. They mostly don't understand us from the journalistic point of view. They are always thinking about the oxygen of the company, which is the money. But you need to also let them know that the fact that he's sponsoring a show doesn't mean that he or she can go scot-free doing anything and then we can't hold him or her accountable. So I encountered a lot of stuff. There have been occasions where it was not even a bad story, but a general story. Let's say fuel prices going up, and you use a particular OMC's picture. And then they'll send a whole email and say that, why are you using our picture? Because we have no increased fuel. And you see, so sometimes some of these things, I'm like, oh, Charlie, why you people? We are doing what? He said, no, it is affecting our brand. And you get surprised. And some of these things are like 2 or 3 months old, and then go and dig and bring it and say, but this thing is bad, Charlie. He said, no, let's do something about it. So as for journalists and corporate institutions, we'll always fight. Fight. But you see, at the end of the day, that is the beauty of it. They go back and then they change their mind. The salesperson think that, look, what you are doing will rather affect our business with them. And the next month or so, they come and then they increase their deal. They tell you that, look, you people, the way you hit us hard, we think that you do the good job. You have the numbers, the way people were calling us. So sometimes it's good readers. It's good business.
Yeah. Okay, so the training institution, since you are now also a trainer, are we having curricula that is relevant to the demands of the time as far as journalism practice is concerned? From where you sit, I'm sure once you are in training or once you are a journalism teacher, you will not only be looking at what your institution has, but comparing notes with other colleagues and the rest to see how you can blend in, some of the key issues for your students. Are we having curricula that is relevant, time relevant, which can stand the test of today's fast-paced journalistic world?
I think that relevance, yes, we have really, really relevant curricula.
Yeah.
But execution is the problem. Execution is a problem because I've always said that if every journalist had a chance to do practical aspect, train on the job before going to add on the formal aspects, we would always have one of the finest breed of journalists in the system. Because we are having nice curricula, but the practical aspect is missing. So we have nice buildings, edifices, journalism school, but you go there and they don't even have lab for editing sound, editing audio. They are learning photojournalism, and nobody has even had a chance to even click a shutter before. They've not even gone to town to interview people with a recorder. And you see, that is what is gradually transcending or moving into our newsrooms. We have a lot of newsrooms that they don't have even common recorders. Now people are using their phones to do recording. You go on assignment and you watch the press conferences. People are using their phones to be doing it. So people are not ready to invest in infrastructure or resources. So we should be practical based at our journalism institutions, so that by the time the students come out, they are already prepared for the job. Well, you are having a situation where people are coming on internship, people are coming on national service, and they don't. All they know is the 5 W's and age, and then inverted pyramid structure and what have you. But as to how it is done, as to how a story structure must go, they have no idea. As to how to edit audio, they have no idea. As to how to crop a picture, they have no idea. So these are some of the things that we are facing. So the practical aspect should be more than the theory.
I must thank you very much this afternoon for this rather exciting conversation. We've been talking to Mr. Kent Mensah, who is a senior journalist currently with Asase Radio. He's head of news there, and we've been trying to look at his journalism journey, which spans over 2 decades. I don't know how young I was when he started his apprenticeship as a journalist, or as a journalist to be, but he's given us some really useful insights on his professional practice, the terrain, the industry, and matters arising. We are very grateful to you, sir, for this opportunity to have this engaging conversation with you. Our next edition hopefully should come before the week ends. We'll be bringing yet another journalist to speak to on his journalism journey. This is PENSDOWN. This is the only program that compels journalists to put their working tools down and they become the news. They are the news reporters professionally, but on this platform, they are the newsmakers. We turn the tables and get them talking. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We are truly grateful.
Thank you, and I'm honored.
Right. So we are back next time with another exciting edition of PENSDOWN. Click the button to subscribe if you haven't done so, so that when next we are live, you'll be notified to join us. My name is Steve.